The application before you involves property at 620-626 2nd Avenue and 211 John Street. We are here this evening seeking major subdivision approval and a use variance, a D2 use variance. There are also bulk variances included in the application. As an overview, I'd like to mention that there are no construction proposed, no site improvements whatsoever. The application is simply for lot line adjustments. The property currently consists of 3 lots and contains 3 separate structures, one being the funeral parlor, the second being a single-family residence, and the third being a 2-family residence with a detached garage. No changes will be made to any of those structures. The proposal is simply to adjust all the lot lines so that they better conform to the configuration of the properties as it exists today. The reason why we're seeking a D2 use variance, the property is located in an R-2 zone. According to your code, the funeral parlor use is an existing non-conforming use. By changing the lot on which it is situated, that triggers a need for a D2 variance. Our site engineer and professional planner, Mr. Fruit, will address the D2 variance and the resulting bulk variances by adjusting these lines. It's our contention that the proposal is a better planning alternative as it reduces some existing encroachments and is more consistent with good planning and organization of lots for the city of Elizabeth. I'll allow Mr. Fruit to address the D2 variance and bulk variances. I would note that for board members and commissioners, I'm sure you're familiar with the funeral parlor. It's been in operation since 1962. It's currently in operation, and there is no changes to the business operations or any expansion or intensification. Again, we're adjusting the lot lines. Mr. Corsentino lives in the single-family home on 2nd Avenue. He was born in that home. He's resided there for the past 77 years. His brother lives in the 2-family home on John Street. Just for some background, again, they're not changing any of those structures or uses. That's an overview of the application. If there's any preliminary questions, I'd entertain. Otherwise, I'd like to have Mr. Fruit address the lot line adjustment and the resulting variances.
Would you stand up for a minute? Tony, you want to join in? You both solemnly swear that the testimony you're giving will be the truth, all truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Proceed, Tony.
Anthony Delorado, North Avenue East, Cranford, New Jersey.
State your name, spell your name, and your address, please.
Robert Fruit, Emphasis Frank, R-E-U-D, professional address is Insight Engineering, 2052, Insight, I-N-S-I-T-E, Engineering, 2052, Highway 35, in Baltimore, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Mr. Fruit, I've appeared before this board many times. Can you briefly give your education and area of expertise in the field of engineering and professional planning?
Sure. A Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering from Lehigh University from 1994. I've been in engineering and development since. I have a current engineering license, which I received in 1999 in New Jersey. A planning license, which I received by exam in New Jersey in 2006. And I testified before this board on a number of occasions and throughout the state.
Thank you. Mr. Fruit, I have provided the board with an overview of the application, emphasizing that there is no construction or site improvements. We are adjusting the property lines to better conform with the existing orientation of the structures. Can you expand upon that? And I believe you have an exhibit that we should be marking, and feel free to take the microphone with you and mark that A1 today's date. Okay,
What I've marked as A1 is the major subdivision plan, sheet 1 of 1. It is what I've done, and similar copies are being passed around. What I've done to simplify is I shaded in the structures, the existing funeral parlor at the corner, a single-family home on 2nd Avenue, and a two-family home, and detached garage from John Street. And again, just for the record, John Street is east and west. It goes up and down the page. 2nd Avenue is north and south at the bottom of the page. Again, as Mr. Paparo indicated, all of those structures, the driveways, one off of John Street, one off 2nd Avenue, all that's going to remain. What's in the lighter yellow color are the existing lot lines. This parcel consists of 4 lots now, 4 tax lots. You can see that the funeral parlor extends over several of the lot lines. A portion of the single-family home and covered area to the north of that extend over the lot lines. There are a number of encroachments and a number of non-conformities associated with those 4 lots. What we're proposing to do again is to take those 4 lots and readjust the lot configuration in order to essentially clean it up. Again, each of the 3 uses on an individual lot, so 4 lots will become 3 lots, one for the funeral parlor at the corner, one for the single-family home, and one for the two-family home. As Mr. Paparo indicated, the D-variance is requested because the funeral parlor is a pre-existing non-permitted use. By reorientation of the lots and going from 4 lots to 3 lots, we're actually increasing the lot area of the lot for the funeral parlor. So the intensity of it is actually being reduced by increasing the lot area. We're here because any change to the lot associated with that funeral parlor requires the D2 variance. What I want to do is refer to the Harbor Consultants Review Letter from December 10, 2012, which precisely summarizes the several variances that are requested with this. First is related to John Street, the two-family home. There is a variance for the existing setback on the left side, a variance for the where 3 feet is required and 0.5 is provided, and that's an existing condition. The lot width and lot frontage where 36.14 is prevailing and 25 is provided. As you look at the prevailing chart, the majority of the lots in this neighborhood, in this area, are 25 feet wide, but the prevailing is at 36.14, therefore those variances are requested. On the funeral parlor lot itself, the right side yard setback is 3 feet. This is between the parlor and the single-family home. 3 feet required, but 1.86 is proposed. Again, these are all existing conditions. The setback from structure to structure is not changing. It's just the fact that the line is going through there and creating a technical variance. The rear yard of the building is 77 feet, where the 90 feet is existing and is proposed to remain. And the lot depth, 106 feet, where 47 is proposed for the funeral parlor. You can see a portion of that is at the 47.9. Much of the lot extends 100 feet back at the depth of the property. And finally is the single-family home on 2nd Avenue, where the prevailing side yard setback on the left side is 7, and we have at 1.89 feet adjacent to the new lot line. That is again existing condition as far as the distance between the structures. The only set of variance is because of the creation of the lot line. And finally is the lot depth there, the lot width, where actually that variance is not required because the 33 feet is allowed in the ordinance. That's a quick summary of the variances. Again, all of this is existing conditions remain. The purpose of this is to provide for each of these independent uses, independent structures on their own lot. Rather than having structures crossing over the lot lines, have 4 lots that don't borrow independent uses, we now have a lot for each of the proposed uses. And the end result will be a cleaner division of land for planning and zoning purposes. lot size, which actually reduces the intensity of that variance. And as I've said, the configuration of these lots is a better planning configuration. That was pointed out also in Mr. Galvano's letter. The end result here is a better planning configuration for these lots. And with that, as you weigh all the positives and benefits of this, and the benefits associated with the reconfiguration, there really are no negative impacts, and there's no substantial impairment to the intent and purpose of the zone plan or the zoning ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Burton. For the record, I'd like to state that Chairman Nunez is now in attendance. Commissioners, are there any questions for this witness?
I just need clarification here.
Commissioner Castro.
So what you're saying is that this parcel of land is currently subdivided into 4 lots, right?
It's existed as 4 tax lots for many years, and the development has sort of run over those tax lot lines.
As indicated in the yellow lines of the print that Mr. Patara provided for us. And what you want to do is reposition those lots into 3 as depicted in the blue lines indicated here.
Right, the blue lines represent the proposed subdivision, which puts 1 structure on each lot.
I understand the reasons why, at least I think I understand the reasons why the applicant wants to do that. But what is the main reason that is compelling the applicant to kind of disturb what is existing there right now and that is not causing any problems or bothering anyone as it is subdivided right now?
From a planning perspective right now, with 4 lots and the several structures that cross over the lots, it's just not good planning organization of the lots. So the ideal situation here is to create lots for each of the independent structures.
Yeah, if I have any further questions, I'll ask. Thank you.
I have a question.
Commissioner Fernandez.
Do you understand what you're doing in the front on 2nd Avenue? You're subdividing a family from the funeral home. I don't have an issue with that, but in the rear lot, the one that is on John Street, you're actually reducing the lot from 50 feet wide to 25-footer, and correct me if I'm wrong. And you're eliminating the access even to this.
Use the microphone, please.
So you're eliminating the parking totally. There's no parking left in that 2-family.
That 2-family has, and you're correct, we're taking that lot and narrowing it. Part of the reason is the existing driveway that runs between the funeral parlor building and the 2-family home is primarily used for the funeral parlor. It does provide access to the garage, the detached garage in the rear of the 2-family lot, and there will be appropriate cross-access easements to allow for access to that garage.
Let's go back a little bit. You're proposing an easement to run with that piece of property so that they have access for parking?
So that they have access to their garage and their parking area, right?
So if we agree to this, there will be an easement on the deed so that whoever lives in that 2-family can go into the driveway into the parking.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct. And right now, the situation where the lot line is, as it sits much closer to the funeral parlor, is sort of the reverse situation, where the driveway sits on the lot of the 2-family home. However, the predominant use of that driveway is for the funeral parlor, and so they're crossing over the lot line. There's nothing formalized with that right now that I'm aware of, but they're actually using the lot that exists with the 2-family home for access to the funeral parlor. So that situation exists. What we're doing is trying to reverse it towards the predominant activity there, which is to get the driveway out of the funeral parlor.
However, the owner of both properties is the same owner.
It is, correct.
So they're going to give an easement to themselves?
Well, as we formalize the lots, the easement would be created for the future, just for what might happen in the future.
So the easement would run with the land?
It would run with the land, correct.
Do you have a copy of that easement?
It hasn't been drawn yet, no. It would be drawn subject to approval.
Would you like to, can you elaborate on that a little bit? Just single family?
Yeah, for the record, that you raised a good point. It would have to be an easement, and I would put it in the resolution as a condition. If the board chooses to approve it, it would be a condition in the resolution which would require an access easement that ran with the land be recorded simultaneously with the recording of the new subdivision deeds, because otherwise they wouldn't have access and it would make no sense. So that's a good point.
The owner can refuse to later on and sell the property without the easement.
Correct. He'd be landlocked, right?
How do you feel on all those easements? Is that something that?
It happens, you know, I wouldn't say all the time, but it is one, easements are run with the land. They can't be extinguished unless done by, recording. It's also, on the record. So it would run with the land, and that wouldn't be a problem as long as it was continued. It wouldn't make any sense for them not to have it, because then that two-family house would not be saleable or, at any time in the future unless they had it. So it wouldn't make any sense for them not to have it, from my perspective.
That is true. However, keep in mind, as I said, when you look at the prevailing setback, or the prevailing width is 30-something feet, but the majority of the lots are about 25-foot lots. The majority of the properties in this area don't have driveways and off-street parking, so it's not uncommon that this house does not have off-street parking.
I appreciate your argument, but since this one has parking, it would be nice to keep some of the parking.
And that's why.
Keep it locked.
I agree with that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, commissioners?
I'd like to explain the easement in better detail to the applicant, to my client. So if you wouldn't mind, I apologize if we move on to table this for now. Could you move on to other business and then recall us to resolve that issue? There's a little bit of confusion on the easement. I'd like to resolve it.
Okay, Mr. Carroll, I'm gonna allow that. Okay, I appreciate it. So, I'm gonna take some more time. I'm trying to get back right to the
I
stand.
appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, I
We're
apologize.
gonna do commissioners at this point, just gonna table this. So the attorneys can talk to their client. It's a good point Mr. Commissioner Fernandez brought up. This way everyone's on the same page. If they need to come back, later at a later date, that's what we'll do, otherwise we'll see what happens when we come back.
Mr. Pepero? Just want to make you aware, one of our commissioners left. I will not be able to vote because I came in during the midst of your application. So you have 6. That you're okay with that? All right, let's move on.
Yeah, I apologize to the board for having to table that for a brief interlude. I need to explain to Mr. Corsentino the impact or the implications of the easement. Thank you for your time, and we've had a chance to just go over that and the effect that will have on the property. And based on Commissioner Fernandez's comments, we have no objection to making sure that there is the easement in place as a condition of approval, which will provide access to the rear of that two-family home.
Commissioner Fernandez?
If this were to be approved, we would have to review the easement and be to the satisfaction of our legal department that it's an easement that would run with the land, no matter who owns the property.
Yes, sir.
If we approve the application.
Yes.
Commissioners, any other comments before we just move forward? None. Okay.
We have no further witnesses or testimony, and again, I appreciate the opportunity to explain the implications of this commitment to Mr. Corsentino, and again, we don't feel that it has any negative impact on the project, and we understand the importance of providing that.
You have no further.
We do have no further witnesses or testimony.
Are there any members of the audience that wish to testify for or against this application? If so, please step forward. Seeing none. Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner?
I understand what the applicant is trying to do here. And I personally do not have any problem with that. He wants to add value to the property, which is understandable. He wants to perfect the subdivision from 4 lots into 3 that make more sense than what currently exists. I'm in favor of this application.
Thank you. Vice Chairman Papa?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with Commissioner Castro. It's more streamlined. It's creating a more uniform lot setup. And I too have no problem with this application.
Thank you. Commissioners?
There are certain benefits to this subdivision. So as far as we see the easement, I'm willing to be in favor of the application.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? No? Commissioners?
I'd like to move to approve this application with the conditions discussed by Commissioner Fernandez, and provided that our legal department is satisfied with the way this proposed easement is drafted. So motion to approve this application.
I'll second that motion.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Castro, second by Vice Chairman Papa. Madam Secretary?
Vice Chairman Papa?
Aye.
Commissioner Fernandez?
Aye.
Commissioner Castro?
Aye.
Commissioner Goncalves?
Aye.
Commissioner East?
Aye.
Chairman Nixon? Chairman Newman?
Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate your time and consideration and having all